Chosen one. Heaven has turned its gaze toward you. This is not a random moment, not an algorithm's accident. This is divine intervention. The Spirit has paused everything around you so that you could hear this. God laughed in victory because of you. When you thought you were buried, heaven knew you were only being planted. The moments that broke you were actually molding you. Every sleepless night, every silent tear, every unseen battle became a seed of glory. You didn't realize it, but while you were crying in the dark, angels were applauding in the light. They watched you keep your faith when everything in you wanted to quit. You must understand, God's laughter is not cruel mockery, it's triumphant joy. It's the sound heaven makes when the impossible bends to divine will. When your enemies thought they had the final word, God smiled. When people left you for dead, God whispered, "Watch what I do next." The laughter of heaven is the thunder of victory, echoing across eternity because one chosen soul refused to bow. You didn't survive by luck. You survived because your name carries weight in heaven. There are scrolls with your story written in fire pages that speak of resilience, of faith that refused to die. You've walked through deserts and valleys, yet you still rise with purpose. Your strength doesn't come from the world, it comes from the one who breathed stars into being and still calls you his own. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Can you feel that heaven's laughter is the sound of that verse unfolding in your life? The Lord himself fought battles you never saw. He silenced accusations before they reached your ears. He blocked traps set against you before you even knew they existed. And now, that laughter is heaven's announcement. The victory is sealed. This moment is your awakening. Every scar you carry now glows with divine meaning. Every no you faced is transforming into a greater yes. Every delay was divine protection, not punishment. You didn't lose time, you were being hidden for the right time. The same hands that shaped the galaxies have been shaping you. The same voice that called light out of darkness is calling you out of fear. You are not the same as you were before the storm. You carry authority now quiet. Holy authority that shakes darkness without a sound. And hear this. Chosen one, God laughed not because the battle was easy, but because your endurance guaranteed the outcome. The enemy expected your silence, but instead, your worship rose. They wanted your tears to drown you, but they became rivers that cleansed you. Heaven watched it all unfold. And when you stood again, that laughter broke the silence of eternity. So now, rise, straighten your crown, lift your spirit. This is not the end of your story, it's the moment heaven replays on repeat. You are the reason angels still sing and demons still flee. You are the living testimony that grace is stronger than grief. Listen, your survival was not for you alone. It was for everyone who will one day need proof that victory still belongs to God. When they see you, they will know that He still saves, still redeems, still restores. If these words reach your spirit, let heaven see your agreement. This is your divine moment to move in faith. Like, share, and subscribe, not for vanity, but as an act of obedience to spread the light. And in the comments, declare your alignment with heaven by typing this prophetic number 777, the symbol of divine completion and perfect victory. Heaven laughed because of you, and that laughter will echo through every season yet to come. You will soon see how every hidden pain becomes divine evidence. The very things that once crushed you will now announce your anointing. The laughter of heaven will follow your footsteps, shaking the places that once rejected you and proving that your faith was never in vain. The path before you shines brighter with every step you take in obedience. Nothing you lost will remain lost, it will return, transformed. Every delay will become acceleration. Every rejection, divine redirection. Every silence, an introduction to heaven's roar of approval. The same spirit that hovered over creation now hovers over your destiny. You will not walk in confusion but in clarity. Not in fear but in fierce peace. The storm may rise again, but this time it will recognize your authority and bow before your unwavering faith. So walk forward. The heavens still echo with laughter because the outcome is already written. You are not fighting for victory, you are walking in it. And as you move, remember this truth: God laughs because he knows your ending is glory. You remember the battle that tried to break you, the one that came unannounced, fierce and merciless. You didn't see it coming, the betrayal that cut deeper than words, the silence of people you trusted, the collapse of what you thought was stable. It felt as if the ground beneath you was deliberately pulled away, leaving you suspended between pain and purpose. You tried to pray, but your words trembled. You tried to stand, but your strength felt stolen. You didn't know it then, but heaven was closer in that darkness than ever before. God wasn't distant, he was silent because he was fighting. There are battles fought in realms unseen, wars won in whispers and tears. Every sleepless night you endured was not abandonment, it was alignment. The pain that nearly destroyed you was the fire that refined you. The same hands that allowed the storm to rise also anchored your spirit so it wouldn't drift. You didn't fail, you were being formed. God never intended for the fire to consume you, only to reveal what could not burn. The prophet Elijah spoke as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 12. And after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. You expected God to show up in thunder, to shake the heavens and silence your enemies. But he came differently in a whisper, not a roar. That's why so few understood what you were walking through. It wasn't meant to be public, it was meant to be personal. The whisper you heard in your spirit wasn't weakness, it was direction. You learned to recognize his voice, not in the noise of approval, but in the quiet of surrender. When everything around you fell apart, you discovered the unshakable center within you. You found that peace isn't the absence of storms, it's the awareness that the one who calms them lives inside you. In that battle, you lost things you thought you needed. People you loved walked away. Opportunities vanished. Dreams shattered. But every loss was a seed. God planted you deeper when the world thought it was burying you. And in that depth, something sacred began to grow, a resilience that can't be taught, only forged. You began to realize that you weren't fighting flesh and blood. You were wrestling destiny itself. Every attack was an attempt to make you forget who you are. Every lie whispered against you was meant to distort your reflection. But somehow, even when you doubted everything else, your spirit refused to quit. That stubborn hope, that refusal to surrender, was your victory in disguise. You didn't need to win the battle in your own strength. The truth is, you were never meant to. Heaven assigned angels to carry what you could not. You weren't abandoned in the war, you were surrounded. The silence was not absence, it was strategy. God allowed the pressure because he knew what it would produce: endurance, wisdom, discernment. And now, when you look back, you see it that the pain didn't just end, it transformed. It gave you eyes to see deception, ears to discern truth, and a heart that can no longer be fooled by empty words. You became unbreakable not by escaping the fire, but by surviving it. You have seen what happens when faith is tested beyond comfort. You've seen the false fade away and the real remain. You've learned that when everything else crumbles, the word still stands. You've learned that when everyone else leaves, his presence stays. There was a moment when you thought it was over. The darkness whispered that you'd never recover. But then, something rose inside you, not rage, not fear, but a calm, steady certainty. You didn't even recognize it at first. But it was divine strength clothed in stillness. And that was the moment heaven laughed again. Because every time you stood when you could have fallen, you embarrassed the enemy. Every tear that fell became proof that the battle was worth it. Every breath you take now carries the fragrance of victory. You are not the same as before. You are tempered like steel that's been through fire and refuses to bend. You no longer seek validation from the crowd. You seek alignment with heaven. You no longer chase understanding. You embody peace. The battle that tried to break you became the blueprint for your destiny. And now, every new challenge recognizes you, the one who cannot be shaken, the one who has already walked through hell and found heaven waiting on the other side. You didn't just survive, you graduated, and with every step you take now, that old storm bows in reverence, knowing it failed to destroy what God had already chosen. Now you walk with quiet power, carrying the wisdom of every storm you've endured. The winds that once opposed you now testify of your strength, and even the shadows recognize the authority you've earned through every hidden, holy battle. The divine setup. Not a misstep, that's what your journey has truly been. You thought you were falling behind, but heaven was actually orchestrating your arrival. The delays weren't denials, they were divine designs. Every detour, every pause, every season of silence, all of it was a sacred setup. You see, God doesn't waste motion. What looked like wandering was God rerouting you to protect your promise. What felt like rejection was divine redirection. You thought the door slammed shut, but heaven was just locking what could have harmed you. Your confusion wasn't proof of failure. It was the fog before revelation. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 9, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. You planned your life with good intentions, timelines, dreams, milestones, but God looked further than your plans could reach. He saw the people you hadn't met yet, the dangers you couldn't see, and the blessings that needed time to mature before reaching you. What felt like delay was heaven aligning timing with readiness. Sometimes the greatest mercy is unanswered prayer. If God had given you everything you wanted when you wanted it, you wouldn't have been ready to carry it. You might have lost it before it ever had the chance to root deeply. The waiting was never punishment, it was preservation. There were seasons when it seemed like nothing moved, when you begged heaven for progress, but all you got was silence. What you didn't realize was that heaven was not ignoring you, it was building around you. Every moment you waited in faith. Foundations were being laid. Destiny takes time to settle. When you look back now, you'll see that every no was a not yet. Every person who walked away made space for those divinely assigned to your journey. Every failure was fertilizer for growth you couldn't yet see. Heaven was never late, you were simply early in your understanding. You were never lost, you were hidden. Hidden from premature exposure. Hidden from wrong alliances. Hidden from battles not meant for you. Because when the right moment comes, God reveals you. Not as someone begging for attention, but as someone carrying undeniable authority. And this, chosen one, is why you must not despise the process. The setup is holy. The detour is divine. The route may be unfamiliar, but the destination is secured. Even your mistakes, yes. Even the ones you regret have been woven into your redemption story. Nothing is wasted. The same God who turns ashes into beauty is turning your missteps into milestones. The same God who allowed the storm will now use it as your testimony. You are stepping into a divine unveiling. And soon, what confused you will make perfect sense. You will realize that the people who doubted you were necessary. They gave you room to grow without noise. You will realize that the prayers that went unanswered were gifts in disguise. You will see that the time you thought you lost was actually time you were being built. So breathe. You are exactly where you need to be. The setup is unfolding in your favor. Heaven hasn't forgotten a single detail. The promise hasn't expired. Everything you walked through, every tear, every disappointment, every delay will serve you when the curtain finally lifts. And when it does, those who once pitied you will watch in awe as purpose wraps itself around your life like armor. You will move with precision, not because you planned it, but because heaven aligned it. Now, I want you to anchor this truth deep into your spirit. The divine setup is still in motion. Your story is proof that God never misses his mark. What you thought was chaos was choreography. Before you go, leave a declaration in the comments as a prophetic act. Type these 3 words, I trust him. Say it because your heart believes it. Even if your eyes can't yet see the full picture. Say it because every hidden chapter is still under divine authorship. Say it because trusting him is how you prove to heaven that you've learned the secret that nothing about your journey has been a misstep. It was all a setup for glory. Type I trust him in the comments as a sign that you are choosing faith over fear. When you declare it, you align your spirit with heaven's rhythm, saying, even when I don't understand, I still believe God's plan is perfect. When you write, I trust him, you silence every lie that told you your story was over. You're not just typing words, you're making a prophetic declaration that you refuse to live by sight, but by divine certainty. Each time you say, I trust him, heaven records your faith as evidence. That phrase becomes your banner in battle, your shield in storms, your song in silence. It declares that no matter what comes, your confidence remains unshaken. You have been marked by fire, yet not consumed. The flames that surrounded you did not destroy you, they refined you. What tried to burn you became the very light that now radiates through your spirit. Fire is heaven's tool of transformation. And you, chosen one, have walked through it and emerged pure. There were moments when the heat felt unbearable, when the pressure of trials made you question your strength. You wondered if you could make it through one more day. Every time you stood at the edge of breaking, Something unseen held you together. That something was divine grace, wrapping around you like invisible armor. The Word of God declares in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 2, "When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." That verse was not just poetry, it was prophecy over your life. You are living proof that fire cannot destroy what God has already anointed. Every hardship that came against you was secretly purifying your faith, burning away fear, pride, and doubt until only truth remained. The fire exposed what was weak, but strengthened what was eternal. It separated illusion from identity. It revealed the solid core of who you are, a vessel built to withstand pressure, a carrier of divine resilience. Others saw the flames and thought you would fall, but heaven saw the future and smiled, knowing that this fire would make you unstoppable. There is a mystery in your suffering. Every chosen one must face the fire before they can carry glory. Fire transforms, it does not negotiate. It forces truth to surface, burns off what does not belong, and forges gold out of dust. And in that process, you discovered yourself again, the version of you that fear could not kill. You learned that pain has a purpose. It taught you endurance. It taught you compassion. It taught you how to discern between voices that soothe and voices that deceive. The person you were before the fire would not have survived what lies ahead. But the one standing now, tested, refined, radiant, is unshakable. When you passed through the flames, something divine awakened inside you. It wasn't bitterness, it was boldness. You stopped explaining your pain and started embracing your purpose. You stopped begging for approval and started walking in authority. The same fire that tried to erase you became your baptism into destiny. Every chosen one bears a mark not of defeat, but of refinement. Look closely and you'll see it on your soul, the glow that comes only from those who faced darkness and still chosen light. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. You've seen too much to doubt God now. You no longer chase peace, you carry it. You no longer fear storms, you command them to still. You no longer shrink to fit comfort, you expand into calling. That is what fire does. It expands the soul beyond human limits. You may not realize it, but others see it when they look at you. They sense the authority, the depth, the quiet strength. They may not understand it, but they feel it, the residue of divine fire. You don't need to prove it. Your presence speaks it. Your survival testifies louder than any explanation. And now, that same fire will protect you. The flames that once threatened to consume you will now surround you as a barrier. Nothing that isn't meant for you can enter. Nothing unholy can touch what has been purified. Fire recognizes its own, and you carry the fire of heaven now. You have stepped into a new atmosphere. The fire didn't just cleanse your heart, it shifted your realm. You no longer see from the ground, you see from the heavens. You discern differently, walk differently, think differently. You have been recalibrated for purpose. When you speak, your words carry the weight of what you've survived. When you move, your steps echo with the rhythm of redemption. You've become a living flame, steady, unstoppable, and sacred. And here's the beauty of it. Those who once watched you burn will one day come to you for light. The same onlookers who thought it was over will seek the warmth of the fire you carry. Because what came to destroy, you ended up revealing God through you. So, walk with quiet confidence. You have passed through what others couldn't endure. The fire didn't change your identity, it revealed it. You are not a victim of suffering, you are a vessel of transformation. Let this truth settle deeply within you. Nothing can be taken from one who has already been through fire. You've lost the fear of losing because you've seen that, even in loss, God remains. You have found something eternal, a faith that glows, unbending and untouchable. The fire proved that you are indestructible, not because you are strong in yourself, but because you are forged in divine strength. You are marked now not by pain, but by power. When angels took position around you, you didn't see them, but they were there. In the quiet moments when you felt utterly alone, heaven was closer than your own breath. You wondered if God still heard you, if your prayers still mattered, if your tears still carried weight. The truth is, the very moment you whispered your last amen in exhaustion, angels were already moving. You were surrounded, though unseen. The realm of light responded to your faith long before the breakthrough appeared. There were nights when you should have been destroyed, moments when despair should have swallowed you whole. Yet you survived not by your own strength, but because heaven's army stood guard. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 10, "See that you do not despise one of these little ones, for I tell you that their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father in heaven." That means your battles were never fought alone. Every time you cried in silence, angels stood between you and destruction. Every time fear whispered defeat, they raised their swords in unseen defiance. You've been carried through storms that should have broken you, because heaven refused to let you fall. And now, as you walk forward, know this: those same angels are still assigned to you. They stand at the corners of your path, clearing the way, guiding your steps, whispering courage when doubt tries to return. You have divine protection not because you are perfect, but because you are chosen, but chosen one. Heaven also works through people. The same God who sends angels also moves through human hearts. Every act of kindness, every word of truth, every shared message of light, it all becomes part of the great tapestry of redemption. When you share what lifts your soul, you become a messenger yourself. So, if this word has touched you, if you've felt the gentle presence of peace, if something deep inside you whispered, "This was for me," then you've already joined the flow of heaven's work. Tap like, not out of habit, but as an act of gratitude. It's like lighting a candle in a window, signaling to heaven, "I'm still here, still shining." Click share, think of it as passing a torch in the dark. Somewhere, someone is waiting for this same warmth. When you share, you become a spark that carries light into another person's storm. Subscribe not as a follower of a voice, but as part of a movement of faith. It's your way of saying, "I want to walk in this light again, to grow in truth, to stay connected to the divine rhythm that keeps me standing." And finally, if your spirit feels led, and only if your heart truly moves that way, you can donate to help this stream of light continue. Think of it not as giving away, but as planting a seed. Every seed you sow in love becomes a tree of hope for someone you'll never meet. When you donate, you are not paying for a word, you are building a bridge. You are fueling the unseen lamps that light countless hearts in dark hours. Your gift becomes the oil that keeps the flame alive. reaching further than any single voice ever could. There is no demand here, no pressure, no condition, only invitation. Giving, in its purest form, is worship. It's whispering to heaven, I believe in what you're doing, and I want to be part of it. So, whether you like, share, subscribe, or give, know that you are helping carry light forward. Each act becomes a ripple in eternity, a soft echo of heaven's laughter moving through human hands. Even the smallest gesture counts. A like becomes a spark, a share becomes a torch, a subscribe becomes a step closer to community. A donation becomes a stream that waters future miracles. None of it is forced. It flows from gratitude. It flows from the same love that once rescued you when you were unseen and afraid. Heaven moves through willing hearts, not obligated ones, and if yours feels stirred, let it respond freely. Because when heaven laughs in victory, it's not only because you survived, it's because through you, others will too. When you give, heaven doesn't just receive the gift, it multiplies it. What leaves your hand never leaves your life. It returns as peace, provision, and divine alignment. The seed you plant today will bloom in ways your eyes cannot yet imagine. Every time you act in love, heaven writes your name in light. Your generosity becomes a melody that angels recognize, a song of gratitude, echoing through unseen realms. You may never see all its fruit, but eternity will. And as you rest tonight, know this: every spark you've released, every prayer, every share, every seed glows before God's throne. Heaven still laughs in victory, because you've chosen not just to receive light, but to become it. Heaven recorded your tears. Not one of them was lost, not a single drop wasted. Each one became a gem in the treasury of heaven, silent witnesses of your faith, shimmering before God's throne. You thought they disappeared into darkness, but they fell into divine hands instead. You see, your tears were never weakness. They were language, a sacred conversation between your heart and your Creator. When you couldn't find the words, your tears spoke for you. They said, I still believe. Even when everything around you screamed the opposite, heaven understood every syllable of your sorrow. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 31, verse 16, Restrain your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears, for your work will be rewarded, declares the Lord. That promise wasn't just for ancient times, it's for you, here and now. Every night you cried in silence. Every time you whispered prayers through trembling lips, heaven took note. You didn't cry unnoticed, you cried under divine surveillance. Angels stood guard, holding your tears like precious oil to pour back as joy in the right season. When others saw pain, heaven saw prophecy. When others saw your breakdown, heaven saw the birthing of your breakthrough. There was meaning behind every tear, purpose hidden inside the ache. You didn't just survive sadness, you sanctified it. You turned pain into prayer. And that's what made heaven move. There are moments when silence feels cruel, when you wonder if God is even listening. But the truth is, silence is often the pause before the response. Heaven does not rush, it orchestrates. The delay is never neglect. It's divine timing, preparing a perfect return. And when God returns a tear, He never gives it back in the same form. He turns mourning into dancing, ashes into beauty, grief into glory. You will soon look back at those nights you thought were wasted and see they were actually working for your reward. Some of your deepest cries will become someone else's comfort. The tears you shed in the valley will teach you how to lead others to the mountaintop. Compassion was born through your pain, and now your heart carries wisdom that can't be learned any other way. You may not see it yet, but heaven is balancing the scales. Every sleepless night has been accounted for. Every heartbreak has been weighed. Every wound has been scheduled for healing. There will come a day when joy visits again. And when it does, it will be familiar because it will sound like heaven laughing through you. There's something sacred about tears that fall for the right reasons. Tears shed for love, for growth, for forgiveness. They water the ground of destiny. Nothing grows without rain, and nothing pure is born without surrender. You, chosen one, have cried enough to cultivate an entire field of miracles. So hold this truth in your spirit. Heaven remembers, not just your victories, but your valleys too. And the same God who counted your tears will soon count your blessings, pressed down, overflowing, divine. And now, as a prophetic act of agreement, I want you to comment this number 444. Type it not as superstition, but as a sign of faith. 444. The number of divine protection, stability, and restoration. Every digit symbolizes God's walls rising around your destiny. It's your way of saying, heaven saw my tears, and now I see his hand. When you type 444, imagine each 4 as a pillar, one for faith, one for strength, one for healing, and one for peace. Together, they form a foundation that cannot crumble. That's what your tears have built, a house where hope will dwell. This isn't ritual, it's remembrance. It's how you show heaven that you trust the process, that you still believe your tears have purpose. So go ahead. Let that number become your declaration. I'm not crying in vain. My tears are turning into testimony. Because heaven has recorded every drop, and the time of restoration has already begun. When you write 444, you're not just typing numbers, you're marking a covenant. It's a symbol that heaven and earth are still in agreement concerning your life. Every 4 echoes divine structure, reminding you that what's being built will last. That number becomes a whisper to God saying, I see what you've done, and I still believe. It tells the heavens that you recognize your tears were not wasted, that you trust the architecture of divine timing, even when the blueprints are hidden from your eyes. And every time you see 444 again on a clock, a page, a memory, let it remind you God was there in every tear, every silence, every unseen miracle. You are surrounded by order, covered by grace, and rising on foundations only heaven could design. The number is not magic, it's meaning. And the meaning is, you are still seen. The enemy's celebration was cut short. What was meant to be your ending became heaven's greatest plot twist. The forces that rejoiced over your pain didn't realize that your fall was actually a setup for resurrection. They mistook your silence for surrender, your tears for defeat. But heaven saw something different, endurance being crowned with divine strength. In the unseen realm, the adversary rejoiced too early. Trumpets of mockery sounded in the dark, convinced that you would never recover. But even as shadows danced around your pain, heaven's light began to stir. You see, the enemy can celebrate for a moment, But God laughs last, and his laughter echoes forever. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 30, verse 5. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. You lived through a long night. The hours felt endless. You tried to convince yourself the dawn was coming, even when the sky refused to change. But just when it seemed the darkness would never lift, something shifted. A stillness entered your spirit, not because the storm stopped, but because you realized you were no longer afraid of it. That's when heaven began to move. Because peace is not the absence of battle, it's the declaration of victory before it's seen. When you chose peace in the middle of chaos, you disarmed every weapon raised against you. The enemy doesn't understand peace. He feeds on panic. That's why your calm confused hell itself. While darkness expected you to break, you rested. You stopped fighting the wrong fights. You released control and allowed God to do what only he could do. And in that surrender, victory was sealed. When God moves, he doesn't always shout. Sometimes he lets the enemy think he's won, lets the stage fill with laughter and pride, only to flip the entire script in one divine breath. What was supposed to humiliate you becomes your testimony. What was used to wound you becomes your weapon. Your pain became prophecy the moment you refused to let it define you. Heaven watched, patient and certain, knowing the day would come when your very wounds would preach louder than your words. You didn't need to prove yourself. God was already proving himself through you. Think about it. How many times did you feel crushed beyond repair, only to rise again with more wisdom, more clarity, more compassion? That wasn't luck. That was divine reversal. Every ending became an introduction. Every heartbreak widened your capacity to love. Every delay deepened your faith. The enemy's celebration ended the moment you realized who you are. Because once you understand that you are chosen, you stop playing by the enemy's rules. You stop letting fear dictate your response. You stop shrinking when storms roar. You start walking with authority, knowing that the same God who let the battle begin is the one who declared its end. Heaven doesn't panic when the enemy moves. It smiles. Because the enemy cannot write endings, he can only interrupt chapters. And your story was written long before he ever touched it. Every plot against you has already been folded into the plan for you. Every weapon formed has already been turned into a tool of refinement. There's a divine irony in your journey. The very things the enemy celebrated your heartbreak, your setbacks, your losses became the material of your making. The darkness you walked through became the proof of the light you now carry. The valley you endured became the echo chamber for your voice of victory. When God restores, he doesn't just return what was lost, he amplifies it. You're not going back to what was, you're being elevated into what will be. That's why the laughter of your enemies fell silent. They thought they buried you, but they didn't know you were a seed. And now, what once mocked you will marvel at you. What once tried to shame you will bow before your glory. You will rise not out of revenge, but out of redemption, because heaven's laughter doesn't mock your enemies, it redeems them through your victory. So, walk with quiet confidence. You don't need to explain the turnaround that's happening. Those who watched you break will see you bloom, and they'll realize it was never luck. It was divine timing. The night that made hell rejoice was the same night heaven began to build your dawn. The enemy celebrated too soon. But the story isn't over. The laughter of God has only just begun. Now every shadow that mocked your faith must watch you shine. You are walking proof that divine promises cannot be buried. What once whispered, "It's over," now trembles at the sound of your rising voice, declaring, "It has only just begun." The same heavens that recorded your pain now release your reward. What was broken is becoming beautiful. What was delayed is being delivered. The laughter of God still echoes not from distance, but from delight, because your victory brings him joy. Your resurrection season begins. You can feel it in the air, a quiet shift, a holy stirring, a sense that something unseen is waking up inside you. The long winter has ended. Though the world may not yet notice, heaven has already announced it. This is the season where what once seemed dead begins to breathe again. You thought it was over. You thought the story had reached its last page. But the author was only pausing, not ending. Heaven doesn't erase it, rewrites. The delay was simply the ink drying between chapters. And now, the next one begins with resurrection written across its title. As the apostle reminds us in his first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 57, "But thanks be to God, who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ." Victory not borrowed, not temporary, not imagined, but living within you now. You've carried loss, betrayal, exhaustion, and yet here you stand. The grave couldn't hold what God breathed into being. The weight of despair could not bury your calling, even when hope seemed to fade. The seed of promise stayed alive, hidden beneath the soil of silence. This resurrection didn't come through noise or grand display. It came through quiet obedience, through small, consistent steps, through the moments when no one clapped, yet you kept walking. Resurrection doesn't shout, it rises. It begins as a whisper in the soul before it becomes a roar in the world. You've been through too much to go back. You've seen too clearly to pretend you don't know the truth. Now death is never final when God is involved. What looked like loss was simply transformation. What appeared as an ending was God preparing a better beginning. Your resurrection is not just personal, it's prophetic. It's a sign for those still buried in their battles. When they see you standing, they'll remember that they can rise too. You are not only being restored, you are becoming restoration itself. The same power that lifted you is about to flow through you. Every part of you that once felt numb is now awakening. The dream you buried, the passion you silenced, the faith you hid behind disappointment, all of it is being called out of the tomb. Heaven is speaking the same words it once spoke to Lazarus, "Come forth." And what's emerging is not the same version that went in. You've changed in the waiting. You've grown in the grave. You've learned the language of resurrection, the stillness before dawn, the patience of hope, the strength found only in surrender. You no longer chase validation, you walk in confirmation. You no longer ask, "Why me?" you whisper, "Thank you for choosing me." You are entering a season where things align quickly, not because you're lucky, but because you're ready. Heaven doesn't release resurrection until maturity is complete. And now, you've been refined enough to carry what's coming. This time, you won't just receive the blessing, you'll sustain it. There will be signs, not loud ones, but subtle confirmations, conversations that click, doors that open effortlessly, peace where anxiety once lived. You'll notice divine order returning to chaos. You'll sense that every broken piece has found its place again, forming a picture more beautiful than before. This is not a comeback, it's a coronation. Comebacks restore what was. Coronations reveal what always was: authority, calling, identity. You're not stepping into something new. You're stepping fully into who you've always been. The resurrection didn't change you, it revealed you. You will no longer live half alive. You will laugh again, dream again, move again with holy certainty. And those scars remain. They will no longer ache. They'll shine reminders that death tried, but failed. Let your soul rest in this truth. Resurrection is not a moment, it's a lifestyle. Every day you wake with gratitude. You rise again. Every time you choose forgiveness over resentment, you rise again. Every time you trust when you could fear, you rise again. This is what heaven calls victory, not perfection, but persistence, not comfort, but courage. You are walking proof that resurrection isn't just an event on a calendar, it's the rhythm of those who refuse to die with their disappointments. So walk forward gently but boldly. The ground beneath you is holy because it's been watered with your tears and sanctified by grace. The tomb is empty, the stone rolled away, and heaven's laughter still echoes across your path. You are not waiting for resurrection anymore, you are living it. The grave could not hold you because you were never meant to stay buried. You are the testimony of divine defiance, the living reminder that no ending is ever final when God has written your name. You rise now, carrying light in your very bones, quiet, steady, unstoppable. What once was broken now glows with purpose. The same hands that lifted you from the dust will guide you into destiny, and every step will sing, "Resurrection lives here." Crowned in the midst of chaos, that's what this season feels like. Isn't it? You're standing where confusion once lived. Yet peace sits upon your shoulders like a crown forged from fire. You didn't wait for calm to come before rising, you rose within the storm. That's the mark of the chosen, they are crowned while still surrounded by battle. Your victory did not appear after everything settled, it was born right in the middle of shaking. The crown was not placed on you because you escaped the chaos, but because you stayed faithful through it. Heaven watched your endurance and said, "Now, according to what is written in the second book of Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day." That crown is not made of gold or gems, it's made of endurance, of obedience, of quiet strength. It's invisible to the eyes of the world, but radiant in the eyes of heaven. It tells the universe that you have completed what many abandoned halfway. The strange thing about being crowned in chaos is that it doesn't feel like victory. You still face opposition. You still feel pressure. Yet, something within you is different now, unshaken, unhurried, unafraid. The very ground that once trembled beneath you now steadies because of your presence. You are not the same person who entered the storm. The wind that once tossed you now carries you higher. The noise that once confused you now fades beneath your focus. The same places that hurt you have become altars of remembrance, where you can say, "God was here, even in this." Your crown is not proof that the storm ended, it's proof that you didn't. That you kept walking when your legs trembled. That you kept believing when evidence said otherwise. That you kept forgiving when bitterness would have been easier. And now, the light resting on your life speaks louder than words. It's the kind of glory that can't be faked. It's the glow that only comes from those who have walked through fire and still choose to love. You don't have to announce your crown. The atmosphere around you already does. There's something powerful about peace in chaos. It's rebellion against fear. It's divine defiance against despair. The enemy doesn't know how to fight someone who won't lose their peace. When you remain calm, you confuse darkness because peace means heaven is near. You are no longer fighting for your identity. You're ruling from it. You're learning that true power doesn't need to shout. It simply stands. And as you stand, heaven aligns circumstances around you. Doors open not because you chase them, but because authority recognizes its own reflection in you. You've been crowned quietly, but soon the world will notice. The same people who questioned your silence will see that silence was strategy. The same critics who mocked your waiting will see that waiting was warfare. Because the chosen are never rushed, they are revealed. And when that revelation unfolds, it won't look like pride or performance. It will look like peace. You'll walk into rooms carrying stillness that speaks louder than applause. You'll become the calm in other people's chaos. The living reminder that faith still reigns. This crown doesn't make you better than others, it makes you responsible for them. You carry peace so that others can find it. You carry faith so that others can borrow it. You carry light so that those lost in darkness can see a way forward. You are the evidence that God still crowns in chaos, that He still honors those who stay faithful even when everything falls apart. And now, the world will see not the scars of your battle, but the shine of your endurance. So, as a prophetic act of agreement, write these 3 words in the comments: peace still wins. Type it as a declaration, not a wish, because peace has already won in you. Every time you chose calm over panic, every time you chose prayer over complaint, every time you chose faith over fear, heaven added another jewel to your crown. Let those words be your anthem: peace still wins. When you speak them, you remind the world that chaos doesn't get the final word, peace does. And the one crowned in chaos will always carry heaven's victory. When you type peace still wins, you're not just commenting, you're declaring a truth that reshapes reality. It's a reminder to your soul and to the unseen world that peace is your crown, not your weakness. It's how heaven recognizes its reflection in you. Each time you write, peace still wins, you reinforce heaven's rhythm inside your spirit. You're choosing calm over chaos, truth over turmoil. Those 3 words become a key, unlocking serenity that no storm can steal, and marking your victory as one crowned by divine stillness. The divine reversal has begun. What was once working against you is now aligning in your favor. You may not yet see the full picture, but heaven's movement is unmistakable. Circumstances that felt immovable are shifting quietly, like tides responding to an unseen moon. The things that once broke you are now becoming bridges. There was a time when the silence felt endless, when injustice felt permanent. You wondered if anyone noticed the pain, the loss, the faith it took just to stand. But heaven was watching. Heaven was writing. Heaven was waiting for this very moment when the page would turn and redemption would begin to speak. The Word of God declares in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." That truth is not theory, it's your reality. Every delay, every betrayal, Every detour has been woven together into a design far greater than you imagined. You are walking proof that nothing is wasted in the hands of the Creator. The reversal is not just a change in circumstances, it is a transformation of perspective. You're beginning to see how the closed doors protected you, how the losses carved space for greater gain, how the waiting shaped wisdom. This is what divine justice looks like, not revenge, but restoration with grace. You are being elevated quietly. Heaven's promotion doesn't come with noise, it comes with peace. You won't have to prove anything or fight for recognition. The fruit of your endurance will speak louder than any defense you could offer. Those who once doubted you will witness undeniable favor unfolding before their eyes. Still, remember this, the reversal is not only for you, it flows through you. The same grace that lifted you will now lift others because of you. Your life will become a mirror where others can see God's mercy reflected. The light that once saved you will now shine through your story, guiding others home. If this message stirs something in your spirit, like it as a way of saying, I receive this turning. It's not a habit, it's a quiet act of agreement between you and heaven. Share this message as you would share a cup of water in the desert. Somewhere, someone is thirsting for hope, waiting for a sign that their season of pain is not permanent. Your share may be the whisper that revives another heart. Subscribe if your soul desires to continue walking this path of faith and renewal together. Think of it as planting your roots deeper into fertile soil, a commitment to grow, to heal, to keep rising with purpose. And if your heart feels a gentle nudge, not pressure, but peace, consider donating to help this flow of light continue. Picture your gift not as currency, but as seed. You're sowing into the unseen, watering a garden that will bloom for countless others. There is no demand here, no condition, no guilt, just invitation. Giving is participation, an echo of heaven's generosity moving through you. You become part of something eternal, something living, something that keeps hope alive in someone else's midnight. Each act of faith, no matter how small, becomes part of heaven's great reversal. A like becomes a light. A share becomes a spark. A subscription becomes a commitment to keep walking in truth. And a gift, freely given, becomes a miracle waiting to bloom. So rest in this, the tables have turned, and you no longer stand beneath the weight of what was. The chapter that once broke you is now being rewritten in gold. Heaven has smiled. The balance has shifted, and what was once against you is now working for you. Divine reversal is not just coming, it's happening. Right here, right now. The laughter of God echoes again, because He delights in turning your battles into blessings. What once wounded you now worships through you. Every scar has become a testimony, every ache a melody of restoration. The tables have turned not because you fought harder, but because heaven decided your story would no longer echo pain, but radiate divine promise fulfilled. When heaven reverses, it doesn't merely repair, it renews. It builds gardens on the ashes of your waiting, laughter in the ruins of your mourning. You'll soon see beauty growing in the exact places where you once wept, and you'll call it grace. Every silent prayer you thought was lost has become the foundation of this moment. The timing was never late, it was precise. You had to walk through the shadow to understand the value of light. The lesson became your legacy. Now walk forward gently, carrying quiet authority. The reversal is not to boast, but to bless. What heaven did for you becomes an invitation to believe again, to rise again, to love again. Heaven declares you untouchable, not in arrogance, but in assurance. You have walked through storms that stripped everything away and still discovered that what's eternal cannot be broken. What God has sealed, no hand can unseal. What He has spoken, no voice can overturn. There is a protection over your life that doesn't depend on circumstance. It flows from covenant. You've been attacked, misunderstood, misjudged, but never destroyed. You've been struck, yet never shattered. You've been pressed, yet never crushed. Every attempt to silence you only strengthened your resolve. The harder the opposition came, the deeper your roots grew. And now, like a tree planted beside living water, you stand unmovable, steady, and full of quiet strength. The prophet wrote in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn." That verse isn't a promise you recite, it's a reality you live. The weapons were real, but they failed. The accusations were loud, but they dissolved. The attempts were many, but they met a boundary they could not cross. You are living proof that divine protection is not an illusion, it's an inheritance. You were not spared from battle, but you were sustained through it. That's the difference between protection and isolation. God didn't hide you from hardship. He empowered you within it. You walked through the fire, but the fire didn't mark you, it purified you. You faced the storm, but the storm became your sanctuary. You are learning that being untouchable doesn't mean being untouched. It means that what touches you cannot define you. Pain may visit, but it cannot live within you. Fear may whisper, but it cannot rule your mind. You are shielded not by avoidance, but by an unshakable presence that goes before and behind you. Think back on the times you thought you wouldn't make it, yet here you are. There were nights when the weight was too heavy, when you whispered prayers that felt like final breaths. But even then, unseen hands were lifting you. Unseen light was guiding you. You thought you were walking alone, but heaven was walking in rhythm with you. Every challenge that rose against you unknowingly built the foundation beneath you. Every accusation became a stepping stone. Every betrayal became a classroom where wisdom replaced naivety. You didn't just survive opposition, you learned to thrive within it. The battle didn't break you, it trained you. There's a reason your peace confuses those who once caused your pain. They can't comprehend how you still stand after everything. But what they don't see is that peace is not your escape, it's your weapon. It's the evidence that heaven is still fighting for you. Even when you're silent, you are untouchable because you are aligned. When heaven's will covers you, you cannot be dislodged. When God says stay, no storm can move you. When He says go, no gate can hold you. The authority of heaven surrounds your every step. You are walking in divine immunity, not against suffering, but against defeat. Even your weaknesses have become walls of protection. The humility you learned in the valley now shields you from pride. The patience forged in waiting now guards you from haste. The compassion born from pain now prevents your heart from becoming hard. Every scar has turned into armor. So, don't fear what rises against you. The louder the resistance, the clearer the confirmation that you're moving in the right direction. Shadows gather around light, not because the light is failing, but because it's shining. That's what happens to the untouchable. Resistance becomes recognition. You are not meant to hide anymore. You carry divine proof that protection and purpose coexist. You've become a walking sanctuary where others find safety simply by being near your peace. The same God who guarded you through chaos is now releasing you as a vessel of calm in a turbulent world. Every step you take from here is covered in favor. You don't need to pray for safety, you need only to remain in surrender. The safest place in the universe is obedience. When you move with heaven, you walk in a path the enemy can't find. And even when life shakes again, because it will, you will not crumble. You will remember this truth: storms don't sink those who know where their anchor is. You are anchored in eternity. You are covered by promise. You are untouchable not because you avoid pain, but because you rise above it every single time. The enemy's hands can no longer reach what God has sealed. And heaven's laughter continues soft, steady, victorious, because the story that once seemed fragile is now fortified. You have become unbreakable, not in pride, but in purpose. Prophetic laughter echoes over you again. It's not the laughter of mockery, but of victory, the kind of laughter that bursts from heaven when the impossible bends to God's will. You've been through too many seasons of silence, but now, heaven laughs because what once resisted you must now release you. There's a sound in heaven that always precedes breakthrough. It isn't thunder or trumpet, it's joy. The kind of joy that cannot be faked. That comes only when God sees his promise fulfilled in a faithful heart. That laughter, gentle yet powerful, has your name woven through it. It is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 126, verse 2, "Then our mouth was filled with laughter, and our tongue with singing. Then they said among the nations, 'The Lord has done great things for them. It's our day.'" That verse is no longer a hope, it's a declaration. Heaven is laughing because your story is now testifying. Every chapter that once made you weep has become part of heaven's song. You were not forgotten. You were being set up for this moment. You see, laughter is not just joy, it's warfare. It is the sound of victory before the battle is even finished. When heaven laughs, darkness trembles. When heaven laughs, chains break quietly. You are stepping into that atmosphere now where your life itself becomes a sound of joy that the world cannot silence. The heaviness that clung to your heart is lifting. The weight that pressed against your chest is dissolving. God is rewriting your sound from sighs to songs, from groans to glory. And soon, even your silence will speak of joy. You've been waiting for a sign. But this is it. The laughter of heaven is the signal that your season has turned. The same way morning sunlight enters a dark room without permission, joy is entering your life again, uninvited but unstoppable. Let it come. Let it fill your days, your thoughts, your breath. Let joy become your rebellion against everything that tried to steal your hope. Because every time you choose joy, you remind the universe that your story is still under construction and God is still the author. You've earned this laughter through endurance. It's the sound that follows restoration. You walked through fire, stayed faithful in wilderness, stood still in the storm, and now heaven laughs because you did not break. You are entering a season where even your memories will be healed. The same moments that once triggered pain will now trigger gratitude. So breathe deeply. Joy is not coming from outside of you. It's rising from within. That laughter isn't only God's, it's yours too. It's the moment when heaven's echo becomes your own voice again. As a prophetic act of alignment, I want you to comment this number 333. Type it not as a ritual, but as a reminder. 333, the number of divine completeness in movement, representing the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit working in unity. It is heaven's signature over your life, a seal of divine joy being restored. When you type 333, you're not typing digits, you're declaring, "Heaven's laughter is over me." It's a simple yet sacred acknowledgement that God's hand is turning your mourning into melody. You're saying to the unseen world, "My time of sorrow has expired. My joy has begun." You have cried long enough. Now joy claims its throne. You've sown in tears, and this is your harvest season. The laughter you're about to walk into will not fade. It will echo. It will travel through your words, your work, your presence, touching others who forgot that joy could still exist. Your life will become living laughter, not hollow happiness, but sacred celebration. People will look at you and sense peace that cannot be explained. They'll feel warmth they didn't know they needed. That's heaven's laughter flowing through you, the sound of grace in motion. So, let it rise. Let joy replace every ache. Let laughter become your language again. The heavens are still rejoicing, because what once broke you is now blessing you, and what once silenced you is now your song. When you comment 333, you are stepping into divine rhythm, the harmony of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit working together on your behalf. It's a declaration that the heavens are laughing not above you, but with you. This number becomes your echo of joy restored. Typing 333 is saying, "I receive the divine completion of this season." It means your sorrow has served its purpose, and the time for rejoicing has begun. It's how you align your spirit with heaven's laughter, letting gratitude replace the weight of what once hurt. Every time you see 333 again, let it remind you joy is your inheritance. Heaven's laughter follows you now in your words, your work, and your rest. You are walking proof that God doesn't just heal hearts, He teaches them to laugh again. Your light exposes every lie. It doesn't shout. It simply shines, and darkness cannot argue with light. You carry a radiance that was not learned, not borrowed, but born from truth. It is the result of surviving what should have silenced you. The world sees your calm and calls it strength, but heaven knows it as revelation, the unveiling of divine clarity within you. There was a time when confusion ruled. You believed the whispers of fear, the distortions of others, the doubt that told you you'd never rise again. Lies wrapped themselves around your thoughts like fog, but truth, quiet, patient, unstoppable, began to burn through that haze. It didn't come with drama or thunder. It came softly, as understanding. And once truth enters, no shadow can stay. The Word of God declares in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 32, "And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Freedom did not come all at once. It came piece by piece. Every time you refused to believe the lie, another chain fell away. Every time you chose faith over fear, the fog lifted a little more. And now, you walk not just in knowledge, but in discernment. You can feel when something carries light and when it doesn't. You can sense when a voice speaks life or death. That sensitivity is heaven's gift to those who have endured deception. The truth has changed you. It sharpened your sight and softened your heart. You no longer need to prove yourself. You simply exist as proof. The truth you carry exposes falsehood by contrast. You don't need to fight for clarity anymore. You are clarity. Your presence brings alignment because it carries the frequency of heaven. But truth is never comfortable. It disrupts. It breaks illusions. It requires courage to walk in it when lies are easier to live with. Yet, you've chosen truth again and again, even when it cost you comfort, company, or control. That choice made you radiant. That's why your light unsettles those still hiding. Truth doesn't accuse, it reveals. Now, everywhere you go, deception cannot stay long. Words that once manipulated you now lose power. Environments that once drained you now can't touch your peace. It's not pride, it's protection. The truth in you refuses to coexist with falsehood. You are becoming a living boundary between light and shadow. That's why you feel things more deeply now. You sense dishonesty before it's spoken. You see motives hidden behind smiles. Your spirit is alert not to judge, but to guard what God has entrusted to you. You've learned that truth is sacred and fragile in the wrong hands. So, you hold it with reverence. The lies that once defined you no longer fit. You've outgrown them. Words like unworthy, forgotten. Too late they dissolve when they touch the fire inside you. Every label that tried to cling to your identity has fallen away. You've been renamed by light, redefined by grace. The truth has given you authority, not the kind that controls, but the kind that liberates. You carry freedom like a fragrance. Those who come near you sense peace without knowing why. It's because your truth speaks before your lips do. You don't argue, you emanate. Your light is not meant to blind, it's meant to guide. There are people walking in confusion who will see you and find direction again. They'll recognize truth not because of your words, but because of the peace surrounding you. You have become what the world needs most, an honest soul unafraid to shine. Even when darkness tries to return, it finds no entry point. You've sealed every doorway with discernment. Lies cannot take root in soil that has been soaked in truth. You are no longer vulnerable to manipulation, because you now walk in awareness, the highest form of protection. Truth has made you gentle, not hard, bold, but not bitter. It has taught you that purity isn't naivety, it's strength refined. You now see clearly people act from pain, and lies are just fear wearing a mask. This is why you can forgive not to forget, but to stay free. So keep shining. The lies will collapse under their own weight. You don't need to rush justice or demand validation. The light will reveal everything in its time. You are the sunrise to someone's night. The steady glow that proves dawn is inevitable. And heaven laughs softly, because truth, the most powerful weapon in all creation, now walks the earth through you. You are not just carrying truth, you have become its living expression. Every breath you take now speaks clarity into confusion, peace into turmoil. The world doesn't need your perfection, it needs your authenticity. The sacred honesty that burns brighter than pretense ever could. And as you continue walking in this light, you'll notice deception fading quietly wherever you go. That's the power of revelation. It doesn't demand attention, it transforms everything it touches. You are the dawn that breaks denial, the calm that follows truth's thunder. You walk among the remnant, now the few who refused to bow when the world demanded compromise, the ones who didn't trade purity for popularity, or truth for comfort. You are among those who chose conviction over applause, process over ease, silence over self-promotion. The remnant is not many, but it is mighty, and you are part of it. You were never meant to blend in. The isolation you once feared was preparation for sacred company. God separated you not to punish you, but to position you. He needed your heart quiet enough to hear what others ignored, strong enough to carry what others dropped. The remnant are not the loudest, they are the most obedient. They move when heaven whispers, not when the crowd shouts. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9, "And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, they are my people. And they shall say, the Lord is my God, with his Seta Rididam." That verse describes you refined, tested, purified, and chosen. The fire was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal that you belong to him. The remnant carries the signature of refinement. Their shine is different. It isn't glitter from exposure, it's glow from endurance. The path of the remnant is narrow, often lonely, but deeply intimate. They walk roads few choose, because those roads demand everything superficial to fall away. The remnant cannot be bought, persuaded, or distracted, because they've already given themselves completely. They understand that the cost of calling is the death of comfort. You've walked that path. You know what it means to stand when standing costs relationships, when obedience costs opportunity. You've known the sting of being misunderstood, the ache of letting go. But that's how heaven builds endurance, through pruning, not pampering. What you lost in numbers, you gained in nearness. The remnant moves differently. They don't rush, they wait. They don't compete, they create. They don't fear change, they become change. Every step they take carries the rhythm of divine alignment. You can recognize them by their peace, their consistency, their eyes that have seen both battle and beauty and still choose grace. You are one of them, called to carry clarity into chaos, hope into hopelessness. You are not ordinary. You are evidence that faith can survive anything. While many grew weary, you kept believing. While others looked for signs, you became one. That's the mark of the remnant. They don't need proof to keep going. They are proof. This remnant generation is rising quietly. No stage can contain them. No title can define them. They are mothers who pray in secret, sons who stand in integrity, artists who create from purity, workers who carry light into dark systems. Their strength is subtle but unstoppable. You walk among them, and that's why you feel the shift, the stirring of something ancient yet new. The world is loud, but the remnant listens. While others chase attention, the remnant chases alignment. And when heaven calls, they respond without hesitation. That's why you've been set apart, not to be isolated, but to be illuminated. Being remnant means being trusted. God doesn't entrust everyone with fire, but he entrusted you. He knows you will not misuse it. You've proven your faithfulness in hidden places, and heaven has taken notice. You may feel unseen, but you are not unknown. The remnant are written in eternity's memory, long before they are recognized by men. You are walking evidence that surrender produces strength. You didn't need an audience to be approved. Your obedience was your validation. You didn't need recognition to carry revelation. What you've built in silence will outlast noise because it was born from truth. And now, as the world trembles with uncertainty, the remnant remains steady. They are not shaken by fear or fame. They are guided by love, rooted in faith, sustained by divine wisdom. That's who you are now, one who stands firm when others fall away. You may not have realized it, but heaven has been forming an army out of your pain. You are part of a divine collective, unseen yet unstoppable, quiet yet powerful. Every prayer, every act of kindness, every moment of faithfulness is a thread in this heavenly tapestry. The remnant are the ones who will rebuild. They will restore what was broken, replant what was uprooted, and reignite what was forgotten. You are one of them, chosen not because you are perfect, but because you did not quit. So, lift your head. You walk among the remnant, those who have endured refining, who glow with heaven's fire, and who carry the sound of eternity in their steps. You are not behind. You are exactly where destiny designed you to be. The call to rise publicly is upon you. You have carried your growth quietly, hidden between pages no one else has read. But now, heaven turns that page. This is the moment where what was cultivated in the secret place begins to speak in open spaces. You are not being promoted by people, you are being revealed by purpose. For years, you've spoken only to God in whispers. But now, those same words will echo through lives that need to hear them. Heaven is no longer hiding you, it is positioning you. You are stepping into visibility not for validation, but for vocation to be a vessel through which light travels further. The Apostle reminds us in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden." This light is not a performance, it's presence. You don't have to force it. You simply are it. The radiance you carry was never meant to stay confined. It was meant to spill over into conversations, into communities, into those who have forgotten that hope still breathes. Your voice, your story, your resilience are part of heaven's strategy to awaken others. When God calls you to rise publicly, it's not to glorify the vessel, but to amplify the message. You are a living letter written not with ink, but with endurance. The world is waiting to read the grace written through your scars. You may still feel unprepared, but that's what makes you trustworthy. Heaven chooses the humble because their hands tremble with reverence. You're not stepping forward because you feel ready. You're stepping forward because you finally realize readiness was never the requirement, obedience was. The stage before you is not built of spotlight and applause. It's built of quiet conversations, acts of kindness, small moments of courage. Each time you choose truth over fear, you rise a little higher on that unseen hill. Each time you forgive when it's hard, another light flickers on. This is how heaven builds its cities, one obedient soul at a time. If these words stir something within you, like them as a way of lighting a candle, think of that gesture as saying, "I see the flame, and I'm willing to carry it." A single light may seem small, but when thousands burn together, darkness loses its authority. Share this message if your heart feels moved, not as an obligation, but as a ripple of gratitude. Imagine tossing a pebble of hope into still waters. The waves reach further than you ever could alone. Your share might reach someone standing at the edge of giving up, reminding them that their story isn't finished. If your spirit longs to stay connected, to keep walking this unfolding path of purpose and peace, subscribe, not as an act of following, but as an agreement to grow together. It's like planting yourself beside a stream of living words, a quiet promise to keep returning, where your soul remembers how to breathe. And if, in your heart, a soft, stirring whispers give, then let it be gentle, voluntary, sacred. You can donate, not out of duty, but out of devotion, as if watering a garden that has fed you, helping it bloom for others. Giving is not losing, it's sowing. Every drop of generosity becomes rain to someone else's drought. Think of your contribution as a note in heaven's melody, one more sound in the symphony of kindness. It doesn't matter how large or small, what matters is the heart that releases it. The act itself becomes worship the moment your gratitude takes form. And if this message touched a quiet place in your heart, take a moment to leave a comment, even just a few words. Think of it as carving your initials on the wall of a sacred temple. A simple act that says, "I was here, and grace found me." Your words may become the lantern that lights another traveler's path. There's no demand here, no condition, only invitation. You are part of something larger, a river of light flowing through time, touching lives unseen. Every gesture, every word, every offering keeps that current alive. So rise now, not as one chasing attention, but as one carrying assignment. Stand tall in humility. Let your words build bridges, your kindness heal hearts, your presence speak peace. The world is dim in places, but your glow is permission for others to shine too. This is what rising looks like, quiet courage wrapped in compassion. It is not about being seen, it's about being useful to heaven. So walk forward, gentle and bold, knowing that every spark of generosity, every act of sharing, every moment of faithfulness becomes part of the eternal flame that darkness cannot quench. And as you rise, heaven records each step, not the applause, but the obedience. You are proof that light doesn't need permission to shine. The same God who called you in secret now walks beside you in public, whispering, "Keep glowing, my chosen one." The earth responds to your obedience. You may not always notice it, but creation itself leans toward those who walk in alignment with divine will. Every time you choose love instead of bitterness, peace instead of fear, truth instead of silence, the ground beneath you seems to breathe easier. The winds shift, the air grows still, and unseen realms begin to harmonize. You are not merely moving through the world, you are shaping it. Your obedience is not small, it is not invisible. Each yes to heaven's whisper ripples across dimensions. When you forgive, the atmosphere softens. When you speak kindness, even the air feels lighter. When you pray, the sound waves carry restoration far beyond your reach. The earth hears, the heavens record. Every act of faith changes something seen and unseen. As the prophet wrote in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 12, "The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season and to bless all the work of your hands. That rain is not only physical, it is spiritual. It falls wherever surrender meets faithfulness. The land around you begins to flourish when your heart aligns with God's rhythm. Even the smallest obedience opens doors for abundance, because obedience carries the fragrance of heaven. You've learned that obedience is not about control, it's about communion. It's the posture of a soul that trusts divine wisdom more than personal logic. You may not always understand the why, but you've learned to move anyway, knowing that heaven never wastes a command. Every step of obedience builds unseen bridges, and one day, those bridges become the pathways others will walk across toward light. The earth recognizes that posture. It remembers Eden, that first harmony between humanity and heaven. Each time you act from love instead of ego, you restore a fragment of that garden. You become a restorer of order, a gardener of grace. And as you walk, the world adjusts to your presence, because heaven within you is speaking peace over the chaos outside you. You've seen this before in glimpses, moments when your words soothed tension, when your presence quieted unrest, when people left your company lighter than they arrived. That's creation responding. The earth was designed to echo heaven's tone, and when you walk in alignment, you become a tuning fork for the divine. Obedience is not loud, yet it resounds across eternity. It doesn't seek attention, yet heaven amplifies it. You may feel like you're simply living day by day, making small choices, keeping faith in ordinary moments, but heaven calls those moments sacred. Angels record what men overlook. The earth notices too. When your heart is clean, your steps carry authority. The soil beneath you recognizes your surrender and yields fruit in due season. You won't need to force success, it will grow naturally where you walk. What's been barren begins to bloom again, because the one who obeys carries blessing wherever they go. But obedience also tests you. It asks for trust when evidence is absent. It asks for stillness when movement seems urgent. It teaches patience, not the kind that waits idly, but the kind that worships while waiting. You have learned that obedience is a language of love, not labor. It's saying, I choose you, even when I don't see the outcome. And the earth answers that love. Seasons begin to synchronize. Provision flows where panic once lived. Paths open without striving. What used to resist you now receives you because heaven's order has touched it. This is what it means to walk in divine rhythm. The world itself bends to your alignment. You may not notice the miracles immediately, but they are happening. Conversations that once turned cold now soften. Opportunities that were locked now invite you in. Even people drawn to your presence cannot explain it. They simply feel peace. That peace is the fruit of obedience. The heavens are not far from the obedient. They hover close. Every breath you take becomes prayer. Every movement, worship. You are living in the melody of grace, harmonizing with creation as it was always meant to be. So continue walking in that rhythm. Keep choosing truth when lies whisper easier roads. Keep tending the small garden of your influence with quiet diligence. The earth will answer your faithfulness with fruit in its own season. And when that fruit comes, when doors open, blessings flow, and the impossible becomes natural, you will know it wasn't luck. It was alignment. It was the whisper you obeyed months ago, returning now as tangible reward. The earth and heaven both agree you are moving in divine timing. The world recognizes its peace when you pass by. Everything around you, grows gentler, kinder, and more alive, simply because your obedience reminds creation of its creator. The ground beneath your steps now carries memory. It knows the sound of surrender. Wherever you go, life responds, doors yield, and peace unfolds. You are the rhythm of heaven walking, and the earth itself bows to your obedience. This is the moment heaven waited for, the unveiling of completion, where everything you've walked through begins to make sense. The threads of pain, hope, loss, and victory weave together into a single tapestry, radiant and whole. You no longer stand in fragments, you stand in fulfillment. The journey that once felt scattered now sings in harmony. It is no longer about survival, it is about stewardship. You've survived storms, faced shadows, and endured fire, not merely to tell your story, but to carry revelation. What you hold now is not just experience, it's authority. You understand the language of both heaven and heartbreak, and that makes you fluent in compassion. The ancient words recorded in the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 4, declare he will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. This verse is no longer distant promise, it's living prophecy. You've seen the beginnings of that new order unfolding even now. The old cycles have ended, the endless striving, the guilt, the self-doubt, all of it dissolves under the new light. You're not who you were, and you will never be again. Heaven has rewritten your name in glory. What once broke you has now built you. Every scar is a seal of strength. Every silence a sign of sanctification. The suffering that once confused you has become your greatest teacher. You now know how to hold peace in pain, how to find hope in ashes, how to trust when you cannot trace. That's divine maturity, not perfection, but perspective. Completion feels quiet. There's no fanfare, no rush, just stillness, a peace that stretches wide enough to hold everything that came before it. This silence is not emptiness, it's fullness. It's the pause after heaven says, "It is done." You've entered the era of fulfillment. The prayers that once felt unanswered have already begun to bloom. The promises that seemed delayed are manifesting in ways you didn't expect, not as replacements for what you lost, but as resurrection of what you never knew could live again. This is what divine restoration looks like, not a return to the old, but the birth of something entirely new. You will no longer pray from desperation, but from dominion. You'll no longer ask, "When? Lord, but how can I serve this purpose you've entrusted to me?" You are walking proof that endings are not conclusions, they are transitions. Death never had the final say. Transformation did. What you buried in sorrow has risen in strength. What you thought was over was actually being reborn. Heaven's laughter still rings because your life has become its echo, proof that the divine always wins. You've become the fulfillment of countless unseen prayers, the answer to faith spoken generations before you. Every breath you take now carries legacy. And yet, even now, heaven is not finished with you. Completion is not the end, it's the beginning of deeper communion. The closer you walk with God, the more you realize that fulfillment is not a destination, it's a rhythm. It's the steady pulse of grace that beats through every new chapter. The path ahead will still have hills and valleys, but you no longer fear them. You've learned that even shadows serve the light. You know that silence is not absence, that waiting is not punishment, that every delay hides divine precision. This wisdom is the true reward, not what you've gained, but what you've become. You are no longer chasing destiny, you are living it. Every step now carries purpose. Every moment, even the smallest, becomes sacred when lived in awareness. Heaven doesn't just visit you anymore, it dwells within you. You've become the temple, the flame, the messenger, and the miracle. And so, this is your awakening to realize you were never abandoned, never forgotten, never unworthy. You were being sculpted into a vessel strong enough to carry eternity's light. You are what heaven had in mind all along. The story is complete, yet the song continues, not as a cry for help, but as a hymn of gratitude. You have moved from asking to abiding, from striving to shining. The same voice that called you from the beginning still whispers now, "Well done, my faithful one." Your journey has come full circle, and heaven rejoices. The laughter that started at creation echoes again because of you. You are not merely a survivor of divine purpose, you are its celebration, its continuation, its living proof that love always has the final word. You are now the silence after victory, calm, radiant, whole. The heavens no longer whisper direction, they sing communion. Every breath you take is worship. Every heartbeat a reminder that you have become one with divine rhythm. And so, eternity smiles. Heaven watches in joy as you walk freely through purpose fulfilled. The laughter of God lingers in your wake, echoing softly. It is finished, and it is beautiful. And now, as this journey closes, the invitation remains open. The words have found you for a reason, not to end something, but to awaken something deeper. You are standing in the quiet glow of revelation, where endings become beginnings, and gratitude becomes the language of heaven on earth. If this message has stirred something in your spirit, like it as a symbol of remembrance, a soft flame saying, "This light reached me." Every small act of recognition keeps the fire alive, reminding heaven that faith is still burning in the hearts of the chosen. If your heart feels moved, share this message, not as promotion, but as a bridge. Somewhere, someone is standing where you once stood, uncertain, weary, almost ready to give up. Your share could be the whisper that tells them, "You're not forgotten." Take a moment to leave a comment. Even a few honest words can ripple through eternity. Think of it as placing a stone of gratitude on sacred ground, a marker that says, "Grace found me here." Your story, your reflection, might become the spark that ignites hope in another soul. And if you feel peace in your spirit, a quiet nudge of love, consider donating not as transaction, but as transformation. Giving is like planting seeds in soil you may never see bloom, yet knowing that someone, somewhere, will stand beneath that tree one day and thank God for your generosity. Finally, if your soul desires to continue walking this journey of revelation and renewal, subscribe. It's not a following, it's fellowship. It's the gathering of hearts walking in the same direction, seeking truth, choosing light, and carrying the same fire forward. Go now with peace. You are part of something eternal, a river of grace that flows endlessly through willing hearts. The story does not end here. It continues every time light is chosen, every time love is shared.